New Jersey has had a debate going on for such a long time that's been so contentious that even a sitting U.S. president did not want to get in the middle of it. Of course, I'm talking about the pork roll versus Taylor ham debate. Well, today we're going to explore pork roll and Taylor ham, and we're going to figure out which side is actually right. This is Monday Mornings with Mark. Hi, I'm your host, Mark J. Schmidt of RE/MAX Country and MoveMeMark.com, where I help you get the most out of the real estate market and your home. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube and make sure you like us on Facebook so you don't miss out. So if you're from New Jersey, if you live in a state around New Jersey, you know about pork roll or Taylor ham, depending on where you live. Pork roll is this wonderful meat which goes great on everything, and it's really fantastic. Now, if you're not familiar with the debate, the northern part of New Jersey believes that pork roll should be called Taylor ham. That's really in like the northern third of the state. Central Jersey and the southern parts of the state believe it should be called pork roll. This is pretty standard for the southern part of the state. So who's right? Well, let's take a look at the origins of pork roll, Taylor ham, first, and we'll figure out whose side is going to be victorious here. So first of all, pork roll, Taylor ham, and just for ease of use, I'm going to be referring to it as pork roll from here on out. I am from Central Jersey. I do call it pork roll. Please don't be offended. But just for ease of use, it's going to be pork roll from here on out. So, pork roll was invented in 1856 by a man named John Taylor. John Taylor was a businessman and politician who actually had been a member of the New Jersey State Senate. He formed the Taylor Provisions Company in 1888, establishing the brand Taylor's Prepared Ham, commonly known as Taylor ham. Now, a quick aside, what's actually interesting is that John Taylor also went on to found the Taylor Opera House in Trenton in 1867. So pork roll had a hand in forming an opera house. Who would have thought? Anyway, so what is pork roll exactly? Well, in a 1910 legal opinion, pork roll was described as a food article made of pork packed in a cylindrical cotton sack or bag in such form that it could be quickly prepared for cooking by slicing without removal from the bag. Now, while you can still buy pork roll in a sack, it's much more common nowadays to just buy it already pre-sliced, and then you don't have to worry about cutting through a sack in order to enjoy some pork roll. Now, how do you prepare pork roll? Pork roll is so easy to prepare. All you need is a frying pan. You don't need any oil or butter, nothing. You just take a slice of that pork roll, stick it in the frying pan, and start cooking it up. Now, what's interesting is if you just put the pork roll in the pan without doing anything to it first, it's going to start to cup up. It's going to start curling up on all sides and form a cup. So what you want to do is you want to put some slices into the pork roll, anywhere from 1 to 4 slices, which will keep the pork roll flat while it's cooking. Now, there are many popular ways to eat pork roll. Probably the most famous is on a pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich. But there are restaurants in the area that have done some amazing things with pork roll. For example, there's a pork roll Monte Cristo. And actually, there's a restaurant I've been to that serves a Jersey Shore burger, which is a burger with pork roll, egg, and cheese on it. I have to be honest with you, after eating one of those, you just say, wow, I just ate a really big meal that probably was not really great for me, but it was delicious, and that's the important part. Now, pork roll has really been all around New Jersey in popular culture. In 2015, the Trenton Thunder minor league baseball team actually had a pork roll eating championship to see who could eat the most pork roll in a specific amount of time. Competitive food eater Joey Chestnut won that year. He ate 32 pork roll sandwiches in 10 minutes. Wow. The Jersey Shore Blue Claws, another minor league baseball team, they actually have a pork roll, egg, and cheese race at the end of every fourth inning of their home games, where they invite contestants to dress up as pork roll, egg, or cheese and then they go for a little race. So that's actually kind of fun. And of course, if you're familiar with the band Ween, Ween is actually from New Hope, Pennsylvania, but many of their songs deal with pork roll, egg, and cheese, especially on their second album, The Pod, where they have a song called Pork Roll, Egg, and Cheese, and another great song called Frank, which deals with the topic. Now, at the beginning of this video, I talked about a sitting U.S. president who did not want to wade into the pork roll, Taylor ham debate, and that president was President Barack Obama. In 2016, he was giving the commencement speech at Rutgers University for their 250th graduation, and he had something pretty interesting to say. He said, "I come here for a simple reason, to finally settle this pork roll versus Taylor ham question. I'm just kidding. There's not much I'm afraid to take on in my final year in office, but I know better than to get in the middle of that debate." That's pretty funny. So pork roll is so ubiquitous that even a sitting U.S. president knows they probably, well, maybe give it its honor and mention it during a commencement speech, but don't wade into that controversy. But listen, I'm not afraid to wade into that controversy. So who's right? Is it pork roll or is it Taylor ham? Well, really, let's look back to John Taylor. John Taylor created Taylor ham back in the, mid-1800s. Taylor ham was a brand name. So Taylor ham is the brand name, pork roll is the product. So if you call it Taylor ham, if you call it pork roll, you're both right. It's kind of like if you ask someone to make a copy of something, and someone might say, "Could you make a copy of this form for me?" And someone else might say, "Hey, can you make a Xerox of that form?" Same thing here. Saying Taylor ham is fine, saying pork roll is fine. Listen, I'm in the pork roll camp, but if you like Taylor ham, I'll still be friends with you anyway. Now listen, if you have questions about pork roll or Taylor ham or even any part of the real estate process here in New Jersey, there is a fantastic resource. It's my website. You can find me at www.MoveMeMark.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you missed our last episode, I've got it right here for you. And here's another episode that YouTube thinks you should watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that circle and subscribe so you don't miss out. And I'll see you next time for more Monday Mornings with Mark. You have a great week.